Brooklyn Independent Television.
Arden Words off Newkirk Avenue serves as a studio during the week and a gallery on the weekend. Founder Kris Waldherr created the space to give artists, writers, and other creative types a chance to work on their own, but at the same time in the community of others. Sounds like a balanced haven of work and play.
My name is Kris Waldherr, and what I do is I make things. I make iPhone apps, I make books, I make illustrations, I write novels, I make websites, I make a lot of things. But the important thing is whatever I make, this must be very beautiful and really bring the sense of aesthetics to a world which is sometimes not so beautiful. Well, the main reason I started my studio was because I became a mother. And I was working at home and it was impossible. So I decided I needed to work outside the home, and I realized it would have cost as much for me to rent an apartment as it would for me to rent a storefront. With a storefront, I would have the option to have exhibits, to reach out to the community. And this was something which really appealed to me because beyond making actual physical things, I also like the idea about making community. And I feel like I really have done that with a lot of the events we have, which are very targeted towards women and children. We have art exhibits, which the one we have up right now is children's book illustration, but we've also had exhibits featuring children's art. We've also had different workshops for children. I've also had nights where mothers come and they have massages, they have their tarot cards read. It's meant to be a very nurturing haven, place of beauty where people come in and they're restored. But it's also my place where I make all these things, so it's sort of a dual function place in that regard. My intent is to make it feel like a 19th century arts and crafts atelier. One of the people who I admire in my work is William Morris. One thing he said was, make not anything which you do not know to be beautiful and useful. And so with my studio, I've tried to create something which is both beautiful and useful, as well as a place where a lot of intense work is made.
I actually was riding my bike through the neighborhood and saw her studio and stopped in to say hi, and that's how we met. This is where she holds her salons so that the women of the neighborhood can come in and network, and creative women of all kinds, and we look forward to it every month.
So what I love about this networking salon is that I get to meet so many other artists that are women in the community. It's also a great way to tell people about what you're doing and have them come to your shows, and I go to their shows, and it's just a good way to stay inspired and network with people.
I discovered the space. It was very much by accident that I was walking down the street and I noticed that next door there was a storefront. I thought, what's going on here? And I realized that an artist had taken the space. And then I learned that this space was available. I think the main emotion I felt was intense jealousy. And you know what they say when you're jealous of somebody? It means that you shouldn't envy what they have, you should just try and do it. The name of my business is called Kris Waldherr Arden Words. And the reason it's called Arden Words is because I'm both an artist as well as a writer. And I feel like the art and words part also covers the design, which sort of is the umbrella over both of them. It may sound a little generic, but I hope it will give a sense that what I do is a little bit, I don't want to say all-encompassing because that sounds grandiose, but I make a lot of things when it comes to both print production as well as web and digital production, so Arden Words kind of covers that.
I write and I draw graphic novels and children's books. I guess it's nice to have my work shown in the neighborhood, and it's nice to hear people like it. I don't usually do art shows, I usually just my stuff is usually limited to books, so it's nice to branch out.
I didn't realize there was this whole enclave here with these stunning Victorian houses and these beautiful gardens. I always jokingly say that Ditmas Park is like living in a small town in the big city, and it really does feel like that, especially now that I have a 6-year-old daughter. I walk down the street, I see so many people I know, and I have so many wonderful friends. And I didn't know any of these people until I moved here. It's just that kind of place. It's a very friendly place. And there's a lot of intensely talented and wonderful people here as well. So it's kind of hard to imagine leaving it, frankly.
It's very neighborhoody. There's a lot of artists living here. I've been able to network a lot with many different artists, especially here through Kris. It's a great community to be part of, and I definitely want to stay here.
What I've seen in the neighborhood and what I love about it is I love the diversity. We moved into one of the big old Victorians, and it was just wonderful to walk around the neighborhood and have Indian food and Mexican food. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience to live in such a wonderful, diverse neighborhood.
From as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to write. I've always wanted to make books. I've always wanted to make art. What was challenging for me was I couldn't decide what I wanted to do more. And when I was in high school, I was working on a novel, I was also making art. The die was kind of cast because I got a full scholarship to art school. So I thought, okay, this is what I must be meant to do. But in there, I still kept writing, but I definitely felt that I could only concentrate on one at a time. Luckily, with the branch of publishing I became involved with, it was very clear that it could accommodate both talents and both disciplines. So they've really been intermingled for me as Arden Words for a very long time. I hope what I've created is this place of beauty and of sanctuary, a place where people can become inspired to be creative as well as to make things, as well as to just sort of, I feel kind of reinvigorated in that part of themselves. It's an evolving space. I keep adding new things as I go along, which to fulfill my idea of what my ideal studio space is. Before I started setting up the space, I conferred with somebody who's on my informal board of advisors, and he said, what you need to do, Kris, is that you need to make your ideal studio space and invite people into it, because if you make something which makes you really, really happy, it will make other people happy as well. And I think that's what's happened.
Become a fan on Facebook, like Brooklyn Independent Television.